One of the earliest homes within Kansas City and Westport's history would be the Harris-Kearney House. The Harris House was built in 1855 by Colonel John Harris and his wife Henrietta Simpson. Built by enslaved people owned by the Harris family, this house today is the oldest two-story brick residence in Kansas City. The enslaved handmade every brick that was used to build this house and also used nearby trees to make the flooring. At one time, this beautiful home was set to be demolished, but it was saved and moved to its current location at 4000 Baltimore Avenue in the Westport neighborhood of Kansas City.
Not many people realize it was built someplace else and moved here. It was built over on the corner of Main and Westport Road so that the front porch faced northeast, so they could sit there and watch the wagon trains roll in from Independence.
When Kansas City and Westport founder John Calvin McCoy arrived in Jackson County, Missouri, he saw the chance to start a town near Yoakum's Tavern. In 1833, he built a two-story log building at what is now Westport Road and Pennsylvania Avenue to use both as a home and as a trading post. He made good money trading with Native Americans, mountain men, and wagon trains heading west on the Santa Fe Trail. In 1834, McCoy bought land and laid out the town of Westport. The road to Independence, Missouri, then the main supply center for the Santa Fe Trail, ran diagonally through the town, a feature that can still be seen in the way that the old town sits today. Streets that run diagonally to the old trail instead of on the grid pattern adopted later.
Westport Road that were here before the house was built. The Harrises were here in the 1830s, but they didn't build the house until 1855. They lived over by Westport High School. They lived in the Harris House Hotel. That's how it got the name house involved in it.
At the time, steamboats unloaded 14 miles away near Independence, forcing long and difficult trips to pick up supplies. In 1834, McCoy solved this problem by convincing a captain of the steamboat John Hancock to unload further west at a flat rock landing near an existing ferry and trading post started by Francois Choteau. This landing spot, only 4 miles north of Westport, saved days of travel. After the successful docking of the steamboat, McCoy realized this spot had great potential. It became known as Westport Landing and was the future site of Kansas City. In the 1830s, the Indian Removal Act forced many Native American tribes from their homelands in the east and pushed them into what is now Kansas. Westport grew during this time, directly benefiting from land taken through these removal policies and the relocation of these tribes just a few miles away. In about 1850, the population of Westport reached around 2,000 people, and one of the earliest families that chose this area as home was the Harris family of Madison County, Kentucky, led by John, known as Jack to friends and family, and his wife, Henrietta Simpson Harris. They came to the land with enslaved people, their 5 daughters, and 1 son. With the California Gold Rush and the increase of traffic on the Santa Fe, California, and Oregon trails, the Harrises saw the growth of Westport and the opportunity to make some money.
The Harrises and Carneys were connected. Mrs. Carney was the daughter of the Harrises.
Colonel John and Henrietta Harris owned a local famous hotel called the Harris House Hotel between 1847 and 1864. The hotel was popular due to the Santa Fe Trail, and it served pioneers, trappers, traders, and travelers. Originally known as McGee's Tavern before the Harrises purchased it, the building burned in 1852 and was replaced with a new 3-story, 32-room brick hotel.
She was the daughter of the Harrises. I think what's also interesting is that the contemporary building to this one, meaning they were alive at the same time or built at the same time, is Kelly's Westport Inn. It's just a few blocks down the road, and it was built in 1850-51. It's also on the National Historic Register, just like this one.
It was known far and wide as Harris House Hotel and was a popular place for wagon trains to stop for some good Southern hospitality. There in the center of Westport, across from Boone's Trading Post, now the site of Kelly's Westport Inn, the Harris House Hotel was a hub for traders, trappers, and settlers navigating on the three trails. In that same year, 1852, John and Henrietta Harris's daughter, Josephine, married Charles Carney. All of their daughters, who were always described as beautiful, married successful businessmen and farmers connected to the history of the area. Charles Carney, an early businessman born in Ireland in 1820, made a huge fortune with the Santa Fe trade. He was an immigrant, tradesman, and successful businessman in Kansas City, and he helped Kansas City become very important. He arranged the building of the first bridge over the Missouri River in 1869, the Hannibal Bridge. The Hannibal Bridge turned Kansas City into an important center of railroad transportation. While working in his early career on the Santa Fe Trail, Carney moved to Westport to be in the heart of the action. This is where he met his beautiful wife, Josephine Harris. The couple had 6 children born between 1853 and 1870. The Harrises made a lot of money from the hotel, and they wanted a private residence to show it off. The home, Harris House, was built in 1855 on the corner of Westport Road and Main Street, overlooking the Santa Fe Trail.
The house is significant because, again, it sat on the corner of where the wagon trains turned and actually laid out Westport Road for us because nothing else was here except a small hostelry and some other businesses on Westport Road that
Jack Harris ran the hotel until 1864, and then that same year that he left the business, the Battle of Westport, the largest Civil War battle west of the Mississippi, occurred nearby. In 1873, John Harris passed away at the age of 77. He is buried in the family plot at Union Cemetery. The house then passed to John and Henrietta's daughter, Josephine, and her husband, Charles Carney. They built an L addition off the back of the home and moved in with their children. Josephine's mother, Henrietta, lived with them in the home until she passed away in 1883. The family lived in this lovely antebellum mansion in Westport until 1898, when Charles Carney passed away. After 32 years of ownership by the Harris and Carney families, William Rockhill Nelson, the founder of the Kansas City Star, purchased the home for his managing editor in 1898. Josephine Harris Carney continued to live with her children until her death in 1913. 1922 was a big year for the ongoing legacy of the Harris and Carney families. Due to population growth of the suburbs, many historic sites were lost. In 1922, the Harris House Hotel, that 3-story hotel with so much history, was torn to the ground despite efforts to save it. In that same year, the Harris-Kearney House was in danger of demolition, but it was saved by a group of women known as the Daughters of Old Westport after paying $1,000 for it. There was one big problem. The house had to be moved from the corner of Westport Avenue and Main Street. The house was then cut in half, hoisted up, and moved to its current location at 4000 Baltimore Avenue, where it stands today. Bricks from the original hotel, likely molded by the enslaved, were saved and made into the paths outside the home, therefore preserving a small piece of the Harris House Hotel. The Harris-Kearney House is now owned and maintained by the Westport Historical Society. They have preserved the house since 1976 and restored its appearance. Today, it is a museum that can be visited. The home contains artifacts, paintings, photographs, and more. It also serves as an educational resource for the community. Part of the goal of Westport Historical Society is to tell the stories of more than just the Harris and Carney families. They wish to preserve the history of Native American tribes who once frequented Westport and the enslaved who built the community. First-hand accounts of the enslaved are often hard to piece together, but at the Harris-Kearney House, one story of an enslaved 12-year-old girl is told in a small upstairs room. In 1854, Charles Carney attended a slave auction in Independence, Missouri, where a young girl, about 12 years old, named Harriet Drisdom, was to be sold. Harriet, also known as Hattie to friends and family, was familiar with the Carney and Harris families. Her family had arrived in the Westport area enslaved by the Simpson family from Kentucky, who were directly related to the Harrises. Charles Carney bought Hattie for $1,205, a shocking amount of money at the time for an enslaved girl. However, Hattie didn't want to be separated from her family that lived in Westport. According to local lore, Hattie was the only enslaved person ever purchased by Charles Carney, and the story was that he bought her to save her from another man bidding on her. About 2 years later, Hattie was freed. This was about 5 years before the Civil War. With few options at the time, Hattie chose to stay with the Carney family as their employed housekeeper, a decision that began a lifelong connection. She remained with the family for 72 years. Hattie died in 1927 and was buried in the white section of Union Cemetery next to the Carneys, a reflection of the deep relationship she maintained with the Carneys throughout her life. In 2018, a brass plaque stamped with the name Hattie Drisdom Carney was installed on the property of the Harris-Kearney House as part of the Stopping Stones Art Initiative, a project designed to recognize and celebrate enslaved African Americans. The Harris-Kearney House isn't just the story of one family. It serves as a story of the unique history of so many that were involved in the settlement of this area. So many of Kansas City's landmarks have been lost to bulldozers, and the Harris-Kearney House today stands as one of the very few that have survived the test of time. And it will stand for generations to come.